Well, it's 7 o'clock, and that means it's time for Track Talk. Track Talk is powered by W Energy Drink. Check out W Energy and use my code LoneWolf47 to save 10% on your order today. Now, you may have noticed a few things, just gratuitous few things. Maybe I got a new sponsor, and he sent me a lot of shit, and um, you know what? Quite honestly, I want to thank the guys at Awesome Sauce, Steve. Um, we have had a couple of great conversations, and today in the mail, I received a few things to get me kicked off as a new team driver for Scuff Racing Awesome Sauce. So, um, you'll be seeing a lot more from me on that as the weeks coming up come, because this is a team driver spot for 2026, and things are just getting started, but the results are already uh, getting my attention because, well, because it's awesome sauce. So, more on that to come. Now, wanted to bring up today, yet again, another controversial topic. Um, I made a post and it got maybe some attention, maybe not, but I wanted to talk about it because not just in our area, but I think as a whole, this topic holds some weight. And so, what that topic is it is clubs better than businesses? Question mark. Now, I want to qualify that, guys, by saying, look, without the businesses and the hobby shops that have tracks and have the race products and so forth, we'd have no place to be, go, or even get started. So before any of the businesses think I'm slamming them, especially in particular, because I know already that there's one that does, and before anybody gets butthurt, look, both have their place, clubs and businesses. The problem that I had, which is what spurred the post on initially, was that when you see the businesses offer less and continue to charge the same money, you're getting less for more. And with a club or clubs, um, what you seem to get is a passion that's no longer there in a lot of these businesses. I'm not saying all, but a lot of them. With the clubs, you got guys running the racing or guys putting together the racing or whatever that are typically passionate about it, that want to partake in it as well and want to give everybody that does partake in it as much as they can. Whereas with businesses, you have the closing times and the regulations and the bullshit that goes along with it. What's up, everybody? I appreciate you guys saying hi down in there in the chat. Um, and so, like, some people get butthurt because in our area, one particular business, it seems I can't blink without somebody getting upset about it. And I don't understand it because as a consumer, any of us as consumers have the right to an opinion. We can form an opinion, we can criticize, critique, compliment, whatever. As a business, they certainly have the right to ban someone from their business. Oops, Freudian slip. But the problem is, guys, when the critiques are about someone screwing up, dropping the ball, screwing the pooch, talking a good game and then not coming through. Maybe internally, instead of worrying about banning a guy like me, maybe they should worry about why those things continue to happen. But hey, I'm just one guy and it's only one track and I'm only banned there, so whatever. And look, if I get banned everywhere else, cool. I still have a club. So I can race with those guys and, I'll be just fine. So as far as the clubs go, guys, when you're talking about racing toy cars, quite honestly, radio controlled cars, right? You're getting together with a group of people who have the same interests, share that same passion to some level or another, and you're participating in that hobby. Some people take it a little too seriously, some don't take it serious enough. And there's a dichotomy there as well. Look, it's racing toy cars. Yes, there is competition built into anything racing, but we're having fun. Isn't that what hobbies are? To enjoy ourselves? And in any of our local areas, we all have those hometown hero guys in their own heads who think they're better than everybody else. And therein lies the problem, right? You got these guys that are, this person isn't shit because they don't race the upper classes, or that person isn't, anything special, or this person can't drive because none of you can to that extent. Because if you could, you wouldn't just be a local guy. I have sponsors and I don't think I'm special. Doesn't matter. Sponsors are sponsors. I'm a walking advertisement for companies I believe in. That doesn't make me good at what I do. I'm okay. But again, if you're not at that professional level, what are you doing? Carrying yourself that way is just stupid. But we have them all. And clubs typically weed those out because more often than not, a club is full of guys that want to have fun and aren't as serious as some of these other people can be. I've mentioned in that post, I mentioned that not only my club, but another local club that everyone thinks that I hate and can't get along with. I don't, but there's a past. That they're doing better than some of the local shops. It is what it is. It's a matter of what you're looking for. And one of the comments that I found fun on that post I made was that some people are looking to go and have a lot of time on the track, and others understand why the differences are there. All right. Without getting too controversial, poking fun, being a dick, or whatever, I'll say this. I don't know anybody that wouldn't want more time on a track. If you're racing cars as a hobby, then track time is awesome. If you think that somehow because you're a race fan or emulating the 1-1 scene or blah, 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 that somehow racing less is better, I'm sorry. I have respect for some people that think that way. I do. But you're delusional. Some tracks have a monopoly on their area, meaning that in that area, they are the only option. And guys either go there or they don't race at an organized race. Because the club support around that area might not be as strong, because the businesses in that area may not be as plentiful, and or it's just easy, it's 10 minutes down the road. Cool. I just came not too long ago from another race in Bethel, Connecticut at a club run track. That club run event was more efficiently run than any shop I've ever been to. That's not a slam on any shop. That's kudos to the club. And that's the problem, guys. If you can come from a situation where you used to race for this long, but now you only race for this long, but you're still charging the same money, it's not justified. We used to get out at a particular track of the night, done, everything, racing over, all 3 rounds, mains, whatever, at the same time that they're getting out now racing less. So the efficiency was actually better when it was inefficient and longer than it is now. But hey, I'm just that opinionated asshole that got banned from that one track. So again, and yes, Mike, I see your point down there. So much fun. Yes, he was with me at Bethel, and it was absolutely awesome. They run a very efficient evening of racing to the best of their ability, and quite honestly, you get more racing in there with longer run times than at some of the other area tracks. Now, I know what people are going to say. People are going to say, well, what about these tracks that have been doing that for years? You don't get this many. You race for 3 minutes or you do this. Well, some of those races have seeding rounds, which is a little more track time. Then you have a couple rounds, 3 rounds of qualifying at 3 minutes apiece. And then you have the mains at a little longer than that. So again, they're getting more essentially for less because the price may be similar, but they're on the track more. They're racing more. They're partaking in our hobby more. So tracks like Full Throttle, for instance, out in New York, Full Throttle runs shorter race times, but they have a bigger crowd. So that kind of makes sense. And guys have to take that common sense factor into play as well. Full Throttle runs typically, I believe, historically, 3 minute quals, 2 or 3 of them a night, and then the mains at different lap counts, which usually all equal 3 to 5 minutes or more. So again, you're getting more track time in that respect. If you weren't doing it, that's where my problem lies, right? If you weren't already doing some well-established program like that one, and you change it and somehow effectively take more for less, that's where my problem lies. And that's for the business side of things. So I want people to understand, especially those who decided to comment on behalf of a business, that while the club that runs the show for that business, the volunteers, by the way, that run the show for that business, don't necessarily factor into what that person brought up as far as the employee rates and the time they have to pay people to be out there doing the maintenance on the track every week, running the races every week, because you're not getting paid. It's a club that does it. So that all those little factors that were brought up, only half of them apply. And so again, the business cost is actually less than it used to be when we raced more. But we're not racing more now, we're racing less with less cost, paying the same amount of money. So that's my whole problem there. Look, guys, clubs are great. Like I said, in a club environment, in my experience, not only with this hobby, but other things in my life as well, you have the opportunity to learn, to slow things down for those that are learning. You have the ability to put on a show, so to speak, and not worry about a bottom line. You typically don't see the big attitudes at a club level race because, quite honestly, the big attitudes would prefer the glory of, look at me at a business, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my way of thinking is deluded and delusional in its own right. Maybe racing 2 minute rounds and 3 minute mains for less than 6 to 8 minutes a night, but paying $30 for your first class to do so seems reasonable when clubs like my own and the other one in the area cap the pricing at $25, and you can race as many classes as you want within that. Maybe the first class being half the price at $15 for more racing, maybe that doesn't make sense. Oh wait, it does. I don't know what else to say about it, right? That was the topic online this past week that I happened to post about, and some have issue with it, maybe some don't. I don't have issue either way. I'm just saying, if you're going to come at me, I have answers. If you're not going to, then cool. I have an opinion, and it's just one man's opinion. If our opinions differ, so be it. That doesn't mean one's attacking the other, although you'd think so in some cases because of the way I've been treated. Ooh, did I say that out loud? Silly me. I must need caffeine. That being said, the race season outdoors has basically come to an end. There's a few things going on, maybe some one-offs as far as Halloween or Thanksgiving stuff, but that'll all be weather dependent as well. So indoor we go. And um, again, there are different groups of people, clubs or otherwise, that are offering different ways to do that. While I don't believe I'll be doing much racing in the off season or the winter season personally, I have some other things I'm looking into doing as well. But again, have I partaken in those things? Yep. Um, and they're good. They're real good. Whether it's a hardwood floor or a carpet or clay or whatever. I mean, maybe I said those things in order of some sort of relevance, but you know, who am I? But again, um, everyone's needs can be met in some way, shape, or fashion because of both businesses and clubs or groups of that nature. What these businesses have to realize is that clubs shouldn't be a threat, they should be a welcome ally. The more opportunity that people have to race, the more they want to do it on a bigger level. That's just the averages. And if a bigger level means your business's track at some higher profile trophy race, well, then good on you, right? You're making more money. Clubs don't necessarily qualify as businesses. Some may fancy themselves a little better than just a backyard thing, and some may be have some avenues of business acumen in the way they do things. But the liability insurances are a lot less. We have no equipment. For the most part, fees and or ownership or maintenance. We certainly don't have to pay a staff because typically clubs are all volunteer. And boy, do me and Mike know it when it comes to volunteering to do stuff other than race. Because the two oldest guys were always the only guys at the track. But I don't fault anybody for that either. You want to race, you want to race. If you don't want to be a part of anything further than that, then that's your prerogative. That's your priorities and your situation. Nobody has to volunteer, unless of course you want a place to race. Oh wait, no, that might just be that. Never mind. I'm not going to go there. You know, gone are the days, guys, of the hit squad and the family friendly. Oh, he bit his tongue again and again. We're still family friendly. We still know how to behave, act, and help people. I'm not in charge anymore, so I don't have to. Then again, this is my show, and I don't have to. And I'm behaving for the most part. I'm just throwing out some innuendos for those who are paying too much attention to what I do in the first place. Because there are those as well. 2026 is an all new year. New beginnings, new sponsors, new club, new hitman. And while I'm not sure what that'll all mean or entail or look like, I can tell you it won't be what you knew before. So that's all I had for today. It was a little more of an explanation to what I already posted an explanation about, but a little more opinionated and not so politically correct. If anyone wants to talk about anything in the chat, questions, comments, concerns, or whatever that I may address, now would be the time to throw those down into the comment section. In the meantime, I'm going to finish that can of Pepsi and see how this goes. And there's the burp that comes with it. All right, well, looks like we're done for the evening then, because there's no questions, comments, or concerns in that chat. I know there'll be a lot of you that watch later and then maybe try to think about commenting on something later online where it's the nameless, faceless stuff, and or we'll talk about things later with other people and behind people's backs and whatever, but that's how the last few years have gone. So it won't be anything new. For now, guys, I'm the Hitman, the devil you created, El Diablo himself, and I'm out.